So which is better, podcast or YouTube? Well, for today's business owner, it is a huge opportunity in both, but I can understand how it would be like, okay, where do I want to go with this? Well, let's take a look. We're going to show some pros and cons. We're going to go over a few things, and hopefully you'll see the clear winner. It's not what you think. Let's dive in. By the end of this video, we're going to go over some pros and some cons of both podcasts and YouTube videos. How can you possibly leverage one or the other over the other? Well, I don't think you want to do that necessarily. And hopefully at the end, you'll understand the big trick up your sleeve in just a minute. I'm Nick Nettarella with AdWise Creative. I've been doing this audio production for over 25 years. Started on the radio and then went all the way up to now doing voiceover and radio commercials, all kinds of stuff. That's my that's my sandbox. That's where I play. I play in audio. Now this video opportunity came along with the pandemic. Of course, everybody was shut up in their houses, had to flatten the curve for 2 weeks, and now the opportunities that are being handed to business owners and being able to go to YouTube or a podcast has everything jumping all over the place. So what are you going to do? Well, let's look at them both. First of all, some of the benefits to the podcasting is, first of all, people listen to a lot of podcasts while they're doing other things. One of the top images I have in my head of a podcast listener is somebody sitting on the subway in New York City while they're going to work or coming home from work, and they've got their earbuds in and they're listening to a podcast. That is a very, very typical scenario. Doing something else while you are listening to a podcast. It can be working out, running on the treadmill, weightlifting, I don't know. As long as you got earbuds, okay, maybe that would work out, but I don't think you'd want to wire or a cord or something like that while you've got weights flying all over the place. But lawn yard work or weeding or the garden or whatever, it's very easy to listen to a podcast while you are doing something else. It makes them very portable, makes them very easy access, and it helps to spend some time, I don't know, if you're like me, I don't like folding shirts. Pop in a podcast and I just might get that pile of shirts done. Now, from a business perspective, how do you possibly cut through all the clutter that's out there? First of all, let's define clutter. All the blogs out there. Do you have any idea how many blogs are out there? Let me tell you, about 65 million blogs. That's a lot of blogs. There are some ways that you can possibly cut to the top of the pile, but it's going to be a long slog. But there are a few things you can do to stack the deck in your favor. Now, for podcasting, how many podcasts are there? Only active podcasts, about 2 million. 2 million, 65 million. I think I'll take the 2 million, Alex. I think that's the much better way to go. The other thing to consider is 99.9% of those podcasts aren't going to be your category. You may even be in a category of one, unless of course you're trying to do true crime. Probably the most crowded podcast topic out there right now, and I want to say the most successful podcasts, some of the most successful podcasts are in the true crime category. Say that 10 times fast. And with podcasting, when it comes to getting your business established in a podcast, there's a much lower cost of entry. Yes, you might have to buy a few pieces of equipment. You're definitely going to want to opt into a podcast host, and that could be anywhere between $25 and $50 a month, depending on which host you go with. But overall, there is a very small investment as opposed to, say, video. Video can have a much higher entry point when it comes to cameras, lenses, batteries, lights, microphones, you name it. All that kind of stuff can come along. You could start a podcast for 99 bucks. Pretty simple entry point. And then on top of that would be your host subscription. Now, some of the podcast cons, well, time and resources. Yes, it's going to cost a few dollars, and editing is not a fast endeavor. I don't care how good you are at it, there's still some little tiny things, there's some little tiny edits that you're going to have to do one little split second at a time. Pops and clicks and things like that you might have to do manually. There are some other types of edits that may require individual attention. Now, there are some other things that you can take care of, like background noise and things like that with either plugins or maybe some kind of an EQ you can get rid of or something like that. some stuff that you can clean up the audio with, and that would be a broad sweeping brush, yes. And then there are times when you're going to have to go through and listen for individual pops and clicks or something like that that need to be addressed. Little stuff like that can be very time consuming. And of course, there is some cost involved. There's going to be some cost, especially hands down in the hosting department. Now, this is the type of stuff we cover here. We talk about getting your podcast going. We talk about getting your business YouTube channel going. Even your blog channel. I know I was kind of sounding a little down on blogs just a minute ago, but they are a very important component and they do pull their own weight if you do it correctly. This is the channel that's going to get you up and running in that. So please like, subscribe, share it with your other business friends to hopefully get them up and running as well. We try to do that efficiently, effectively, and cost efficiently. So let's talk about YouTube. What's the downside of YouTube? Well, if you want to play a podcast while you're doing something else, and this podcast happens to be on YouTube, if you're doing something else, you haven't devoted your full attention to the podcast itself, to the video itself. Well, without watching, there might be a little something that you may miss. There may be a graphic or a picture or something like that that they've added in the editing process, maybe even some B-roll, just to make it a little more entertaining. You're going to miss out on the imagery that the video is portraying if you're preoccupied with other things. And then when it comes to editing, it's a much bigger project, editing video, than it is editing audio. You've got a lot more elements involved. In fact, there are other elements that you add to the video. So now you've got, you know, when you put somebody's name at the bottom, that's called a lower third. You end up adding lower thirds or graphics or something like that. Stuff that really is irrelevant in audio, now it becomes crucial in video. That just takes extra time throughout the editing process. And yes, there are more support material. Now, don't get me wrong. See, this is the conundrum here. To actually get started, you could possibly break into YouTube for free with what you have. There's no charge for hosting your stuff on YouTube. Anything else that you could possibly get, you could get for free. Lighting, sunlight, camera, your cell phone. You've already got a cell phone. Anything that you could possibly need, even some editing software. There are a lot of editing softwares out there for free. So the point of entry may be less for video, but if you want to make a really good video, yeah, you're probably going to want some exterior lighting, some lighting that you control and can manipulate, that type of thing. That's going to start to call for an investment. Don't get me wrong. There are plenty of them out there. One of my favorites that I like to watch, her name is Sunny Lenarduzzi. Now, I know I pronounced it wrong. Think of Leonard with U-Z-Z-I at the end. Sunny, just do Sunny in YouTube and you'll probably come up with her channel. She does all of her stuff in front of a window, either a window or a ring light. It's very simple stuff for her. And you can get started there and her stuff looks great. And then there's other things where you're going to have three-point lighting and fancy cameras and stuff like that. So it can get out of hand, but your point of entry just might be zero when it comes to YouTube. Now, some of the pros of YouTube. Well, it's a really good connection with your audience. They not only get to see you, but you get to talk to them. In fact, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm talking to you right now. You asked the question, what did you say? You said, what is better, podcasting or YouTube? Well, here I am telling you my answer. It's, take it for what it's worth, but here you and I are having a conversation and you can see me. There's an extra connection when the video is incorporated into your answer. On YouTube itself, there are side income opportunities. As your library of videos start to grow, you end up with more subscribers and more time watching. When that reaches a certain threshold, you can end up qualifying for YouTube advertising revenue. They run the ads, you share in the profits. And then when it comes to listening to a podcast, or even, actually this is how it was done. The survey was done with a podcast on YouTube that just had like the logo, the artwork, the podcast artwork, and the audio, versus an actual video of the host and co-host, team, whoever it was. The live video versus the logo, the live video got twice the viewership as the video podcast alone. Pretty astounding numbers, double That's pretty powerful. And probably the biggest pro when it comes to YouTube is search. YouTube is the #2 search engine in the world. The #1 search engine is Google, and Google owns YouTube. Imagine that. That's how the two work so well together. In Google, you get YouTube results, and for YouTube, you get amazing results across YouTube. The two search engines are intertwined, and they work so well together because they're from the same parent company. And there is a way to cater your episodes and your titles to the YouTube search, and that way it will end up bringing you viewers, and people are looking for your information. They just don't know who you are yet. So when you tweak your videos and your titles the right way and get them to match up with what people are searching, they immediately find you because you've got the title that they're already looking for. So, pros and cons. YouTube versus podcast. Which one do you want to do? How do you go about it? Where should you sink your resources? How do we possibly want to do this? Now remember, I said there was probably a zero entry point for YouTube where you might have to spend a little bit of money for a podcast. So here's my advice. Start with both. Start with both. Record everything in video. Always start with video, because if you ever need the video, you have it. If you just record the audio, then you'll have to go back and redo it if you want the video. Start in video, and chances are, in fact, I know there is a free software right off the top of my head. It's the one I use, DaVinci Resolve. You can get the free version, and once you're done editing everything, you can do an audio-only mixdown. Let's see, what's an audio-only mixdown called? It's your podcast. So you've done the editing for the video, and now you've got a completed podcast. Render the video, render the audio, you've got your YouTube channel, and you've got your podcast. Boom, done. No extra work. So basically, you're one click away from having both. Record in video. Don't just record in audio. Record in video, and you'll have everything you need. So to get all of this started, I have an offer for you. I've got something for you. A friend of mine, Nate Woodbury, has written this book, A Hero's Guide to Influence on YouTube. Start with this, because this is going to give you that amazing YouTube foundation. There is a link in the description down below. Click on it and find out how you can get your copy as quickly as possible. This is going to be your new YouTube marketing Bible, I guarantee you. Keep it within reach. You're going to be referencing it all the time. A Hero's Guide to Influence on YouTube by Nate Woodbury. Get your copy today. I'm Nick Natarella with AdWise Creative. Thank you for watching.